Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome back to the Four Direction. My name is Mary Apollo. I'm the host for today. So, in today's episode, the show we're going to talk about Atlas Corp Fellowship Program. It's an international nonprofit organization that empower and train youth through trainings and leadership exchange program. The program has graduated hundreds and like millions of fellows around the globe by exchange program that bring leaders from 75 countries to the United States to do trainings and also exchange experience. So we're going to talk more about the organization. The fellowship have current fellows, they have alumni whom they are working together. Uh, but what about the progressive work under the ground and how the program vision and future for leadership? We're going to discuss that. I'm joined by Abby Robinson. She's a CEO. She's an acting CEO for Atlas Corp. Welcome, Abby.
Welcome. Thank you so much. It's great to be here and great to see you.
Thank you so much. So first, you have in 2006 you were one of the first Atlas Core Fellow, and then you became a member for the organization. How is that experience feel for you?
It is amazing, and it is such an honor to come from the community and now to be leading the community. And it just shows you the commitment of Atlas Core to leadership development. I think about myself. This was 12 years ago that I became an Atlas Core Fellow, and it was in class 2. So Atlas Core in 2021, we're celebrating 15 years. This is our 15th anniversary. And we launched back in 2006. We brought our first fellows to the United States in 2007. And then 2008, I became a fellow. And I actually served in Bogota, Colombia. And I was part of the first class to serve in Bogota. And it was, as sometimes they say, on a wing and a prayer. I heard about this opportunity. I love the team. I love the founder. And I said, I want to do it. And not knowing much, knowing that it was pioneering and activity, I just embraced it. And that has just been the experience of Atlas Core. And I love this community. And Mary Apollo, such as yourself, it's just made of individuals who are inspired by the possibilities, who are inspired by opportunities, who are really motivated to make a difference. And it is not about knowing the answers. It's just about embracing what could be. And I feel like I embraced that. I jumped forth, went to Colombia. I came back. I was living in Washington, D.C. I returned to Washington, D.C. I joined the Atlas Core team full time in 2010. And now here I am. I celebrated my 11th year in July, and I am continually inspired and honored by this community of 1,100 social change leaders from 110 countries. And so you know who you are. I'm going to give a round of applause. So it is an amazing group.
Thank you. So because I was also an Atlas Core Fellow, just tell me more about when you talk about
Social change and leadership, leaders, also young people leader. What do you mean by that? What is the organization mission and vision? And what kind of work do the program do, please?
Yeah, great point. And Atlas Core, there's two key things. Atlas Core is based on this idea that talent exists throughout the world, yet opportunity does not. And also, core to our theory of change is that we feel the most effective way to forward positive social impact is by building the skills of individuals and then connecting them to one another on a global scale. And so by going throughout the world and finding this emerging talent, giving them the opportunity to come to this global stage, serving in the United States or being part of our virtual community, that enhances their skills, connects them, as I mentioned, to our global community of more than 1,000 social change leaders, and then provides additional expertise and knowledge for them to forward social change, whether it's on community health, whether it's on tech for social change, whether it's on youth leadership development. And I love that about Atlas Core is that we cover all these social issues based on the individuals who are involved in our community, as well as all the skill sets. So we have monitoring and evaluation experts. I come from a communication fundraising background. We have doctors and economic development. And that's what's amazing. And actually, in our 15th year, it is exciting. We modified our mission statement. So our mission statement, I'm just going to share with you, is to address critical social issues, Atlas Corps develops leaders and strengthens organizations through training programs and a global alumni community of skilled social change professionals. And I think that's key because there is the Atlas Corps experience. So we have this fellowship where a social change leader between 22 to 35 years of age serves at an organization that is based in the United States. And they can do that by serving completely in the US. So right now we're doing a blended where our fellows start abroad and then the goal is they travel to the US, as well as we launched a virtual leadership institute. So individuals can engage in an online learning opportunity with other global social change leaders. And they can do that from their homes in their home countries while they're doing other activities. And really the benefit is that they're networking. And so after this experience, whether it's 7 months, 12 months, 18 months, then what they do after that is what's really amazing. These alumni that go forth and continue to inspire, such as yourself.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you. So if the person want to apply
Fellowship, how does it work? What should they do? And how the most important question, how is the person find the potential and the leadership skills inside them?
Great. Well, first, I'm going to encourage everyone apply.atlascorps.org. Apply.atlascorps.org. It is the location of our application. It's an online application and also details about the fellowship as well as our Virtual Leadership Institute. So that's step one. And just thinking about the big picture, like what does it mean and such. And so our basics, we are looking for individuals between the age of 22 to 35. And we do ask for a university degree, English proficiency. And while our focus, especially for the fellowship in the US, is non-US professionals, for the Virtual Leadership Institute, we do have Americans involved. So I encourage Americans, if you're interested, we actually will be recruiting actively for Americans in the upcoming months. And so with that, you can fill out the application, and it is a competitive process. I think we're at like 2 to 5% acceptance, and we know there are amazing people. And what's important to note is there's a couple dynamics. So with the fellowship, an individual is actively serving with an organization based on their skills. So for example, we may have a monitoring and evaluation specialist from Colombia that serves at CARE USA, is with their Washington, D.C. office. And so that fellow is actively engaged in utilizing M&E skills to advance the mission and the work of CARE USA. And in that, they're sharing with that team and being able to do that for a year. That's what's key. And while they're sharing, they're also learning and gaining knowledge from this new professional setting with the idea that after that year, they will take the knowledge that they gained and bring that home to implement at home. And then CARE USA is stronger because they've benefited from the talents of this fellow. So I think that's where that leadership really comes into play. Of course, for those of you in the Virtual Leadership Institute, it's also an opportunity. We focus on these core leadership principles of developing self, developing others, and leading movements. Throughout this program, individuals, they engage in calls. We have facilitators come in. And so you're engaging with your community. So there's active discussion. And what we call our virtual scholars. They're putting together a leadership project. And whether that might be, they might be starting an organization, they might be enhancing something in their current employer, maybe their community. And then throughout these months, they are getting feedback from the other virtual scholars to inspire, to enhance. A great example, we had Algerian scholar who was collaborating with a Venezuelan scholar about how to develop a youth leadership program in Algeria. And I think amazing. They met through the Virtual Leadership Institute. And here she had a great idea for a program she wanted to implement in her own community to engage youth. And here was an individual from Venezuela who had been doing youth work. And so he was able to share some of his knowledge. And that's what's it about. That is what it's about. So throughout that, they're engaging. And that's the next step in leadership. And then our goal is that they stay connected even after their active participation with Atlas Corps.
So
You talk about the English proficiency. Does it require a special kind of level, or the person required to take the TOEFL or the IELTS, the International English Evaluation Exams? And also, how long is the fellowship last for?
Excellent questions. So in regards to the English, we, on our application, so it's a written application, and word to the wise, having applied, gone through, and done the fellowship, the application is something you want to spend time to do. It's not something you sit down in 15 minutes, you fill it out. You'll need references, you want to gather information. So I encourage you all, you can open an online application and you can see all the questions, and then give yourself some time. And we have an ongoing application process. We have a few times per year where we have what's called priority deadlines, meaning we're pushing people to submit their application by a date because we're going to be actively reviewing. And then throughout the year, we're also accepting applications. So you can find out more on our webpage, apply.atlascore.org. So when it comes to that application, we do offer, if you have a TOEFL score or some kind of similar English test, you can add that score. It is not required. The application is submitted in English, and so that gives us an idea of your English ability. There are a few essay questions, which are really important. And what's key is that we are fully transparent that for the fellowship, meaning the active service with an organization based out of the US, is that you are going to be working in a mostly English environment. So there is that need to have a level of English proficiency to be able to be successful in that role. In addition, Atlas Core also acknowledged that we are a global community. And so therefore, we're based in Washington, D.C., and our language of operation is English. And so to be able to actively engage in our professional development, our activities, we execute those all in English because at any given time, we have fellows from multiple countries. So this just ensures that we all have a common language that we can engage with. And what's amazing is that throughout the fellowship, I love these stories. If we have a Russian fellow learning Spanish, a Mexican fellow learning Arabic, and that's part of the experience. So it is just important that that English proficiency is there for ultimate success.
So basically, after the person applied, then they
Just walk us please through the process of the application. After the person applies, what should happen?
Definitely. We essentially have what I like to call a 5-step process. And I'll describe it for the fellowship as well as the Virtual Leadership Institute, as they are very aligned. So the first step is the application and review. So as I mentioned, we have an online written application, and you can create your account and you can actually complete it over time. So you don't have to sit down and complete it at once. So I encourage you to create your account, look at the questions, and then once you update everything, it asks about your education and your jobs, your experience, your interests, then you submit. We have a trained group of what we call our selection board review the application. If you score a certain level, then you move to step 2. And step 2 is our selection board interview. So that is an interview, whether via Skype, Google Meet, Zoom, that is with, again, our trained selection board. And there's a series of questions to get to know your skills deeper. And also, that is great practice for future parts of this application process. So if an applicant passes the selection board interview, then they move on to step 3. And that means the achievement of what we call semi-finalist status. And semi-finalists are eligible to move on to the next steps. And this is where I'm going to divide. It's either moving on toward the fellowship, or, and this can be simultaneous, moving toward the Virtual Leadership Institute. So first, I'm going to do Virtual Leadership Institute because that is slightly easier, and then I'll end on the fellowship because people are very interested in that. Is that the Virtual Leadership Institute is if you go to your semifinalists, you may be invited, and then you can accept, and you'll submit a leadership project and then commit to the schedule for the Virtual Leadership Institute. And that is a completely online that people do
is
from
it
home.
open for all the countries or all the people?
It is open for all the countries. Yes. And so then when we go to, oh yes, tell me.
Does the person who's engaged in the online leadership
Get the same benefit and the same as the person who came to the fellowship in person?
Great question. It is different in the nature of the program. So the Virtual Leadership Institute is a completely online program that is approximately 7 months. And essentially, it is a group call. We typically engage about cohorts of about 50 individuals. And the profile is very similar as our fellows, between 22 to 35, university degree, English proficiency, social change leader. And essentially, once a month, they participate in a large group call with a facilitator, learning about these themes of developing self, developing others, and leading movements. And then they are also placed in a smaller peer coaching group of approximately 10 scholars. And we have a coach that's a peer coach leading this group. And so that's when they, once a month, will engage in deeper discussion. So the major difference is that the Virtual Leadership Institute scholars are doing online professional development, and they're not placed at an organization.
Yeah.
So does that answer your question about the Virtual Leadership Institute?
Thank you.
Excellent. So let's go back to the application. So here we are. We're at step 3, semifinalist status. And so from semifinalist status on the track to become a fellow, step 4 is host organization review and interview. So once Atlas Corps has a group of semifinalists, we look at our pool of interested host organizations. And at any given time, we're talking to hundreds of organizations located throughout the United States that have submitted to us a position description. And that description tells us what they're looking for, and they may have skills they're interested in. They may have languages, they may have regions of the world, and we do a matching process. So an organization may receive 3 to 5 applications, and that organization reads those applications and see who might be a good fit. And if they find a good fit, then they engage with our partnerships team, and they say, well, I'd like to interview these 1, 2, 3 semifinalists. And then we help facilitate these interviews, and the host organization representatives and the applicant have an interview, very similar to a job interview. The virtual conversation, asking the questions about the role, their skills, their ability. The applicant, the semifinalist, also can ask some questions to better understand that role. And so once that interview is complete, that's when the organization makes the decision. Is this an individual we'd like to engage at our organization? Is now the right time? If an organization selects an individual, they tell our partnerships team, and that is step 5. The applicant receives notification that this person was selected as an Atlas Corps Fellow. And once that individual accepts, then Atlas Corps assists with all the back end of the logistics, everything to get this individual ready to start day 1 of orientation to be an Atlas Corps Fellow.
I have a question. My first question is in the host organization.
How do you match the people depending on my previous experience or what I want to do in the future?
Excellent. So the key element is the use of the application and the position description from the host org. So as an individual, the application provides us the insight into skills, ability, knowledge, and interests. So that's what we use then to look at these position descriptions that also has similar. What is an organization looking for? What are the skills they seek? What are any special interests, areas? And that's when we do our matching process. And so that's what's really key. And so that application is very informative for us to get to know individuals that are interested in the fellowship.
What about the funding? Where did the organization
Coming from that to host this leadership and bring them from back home to have this amazing leadership exchange program?
Excellent. So we have, I love to say we have a very sustainable and diverse funding model. The first is that Atlas Corps is based on social entrepreneurial model in that host organizations contribute a host fee to engage a fellow. And this is what is part of what Atlas Corps believes is the win-win-win, give philosophy. And the idea is that Atlas Corps is here contributing the structure and our time in the organization. We're giving that. The individual that becomes a fellow is giving of their time, this year of service at an organization. And then the host organization is giving the host fee as well as the opportunity to serve in their organization for a year. So that's the give. And the win is that the win for the organization is this outstanding global talent that comes to their organization. For the fellow, the idea to learn and to share and to engage in a host organization and to be part of the Atlas Core community. And then for Atlas Core, just to be part of the overall experience to grow our global network of fellows as well as our global community of host organizations. And so that is number one. That is the biggest percentage of our funding is this host fee. And that usually covers about 70 to 80% of the cost. And then beyond that, we have partnerships with the US government. So we have numerous embassies, US embassies, that have supported fellows from their countries. And that helps to offset some of the costs and also inspire some of our recruitment. You may see on our website, we have special initiatives for Madagascar or for Russia, and that is usually inspired by US embassy investment. And then we also have private funders, so private grants that support us. And then we have individuals. And thank you to all our individual donors. You are much appreciated. They are the core of Atlas Core, investing their time, talent, and treasure in supporting our global community of leaders.
Okay. Do you sometimes have the kind of special support for
countries that sometimes for I remember our time that they were accepting fellow from Sudan and South Sudan. There were special project on that. Do you have that always on which base the organization decide where to take more fellows from each countries?
Yes, that is special initiative funding. So yes, Mary Paul, you came to us through a special collaboration with the Office of the Special Envoy for Sudan and South Sudan. And many years ago, I think I was that in 2014, and it was an opportunity for us to engage alongside one another, fellows from Sudan and South Sudan, which was amazing. I think it was an innovative investment in that you had these emerging leaders looking to the future and coming to the US and sharing this experience as Atlas Core Fellows. And it's great to have you as one of those alumni. And we have additional partnerships like that. So right now with our Virtual Leadership Institute, we actually have a partnership supported by the US Embassy in Moscow and from Russia that is supporting Russian and American women in the Virtual Leadership Institute. And the goal for that was to engage these talented Russian female professionals, talented American female professionals in a shared experience so that they can enhance their professional knowledge while also creating personal connection. And we see that with other groups. We have the U.S. Embassy in Madagascar is currently funding us, as well as we have partnerships with, we're supporting Palestinian scholars as well. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head, there's numerous different collaborations. The U.S. Embassy in Côte d'Ivoire, we're going to be recruiting our first participants for Côte d'Ivoire. So anyone listening from there, stay tuned. You're going to see some info. So it varies at any given time, and we are continually reaching out to our embassy partners to see what might be of interest.
So cool. So sometimes I want to talk about more the
that you do the fundraising projects sometimes. And I saw like 2 weeks ago there was something going on the. Can you share more about the current project that you're doing now?
Yes, love it. And you are right. Global Giving Bonus Day. Global Giving is one of our longtime partners and also the fundraising platform we use, our online platform. And every July, they have this special bonus day, which is a matching fundraising day. And it has become core to our fundraising strategy. And this year, especially because it is Atlas Core's 15th anniversary, it's an exciting year to celebrate and to really invest in the future of Atlas Core. And we're thinking big picture, like what are some of these campaigns we run throughout the year? And so we have essentially 3 core campaigns. The first is Global Giving Bonus Day, which is in July. So essentially, usually about mid-July, we do a big matching day. And thank you to all who invested. And that's what we promote. It's really investing in Atlas Core leaders, our fellows, our scholars, our alumni. So that was one big campaign, and we're reaching out to our donors. And the second campaign is towards the end of the year. And we really focus on the giving today. And so we usually kick off in about October and really do a big push into November, December, aligned with Giving Tuesday right after American Thanksgiving. And that's when we get the majority of our donors are really, as is very common in the United States, is that end of year giving. So we outreach, send letters, do calls, really engage our community and appreciate those type of investments. And then we also have an annual event. And this year it's a big milestone event because the Atlas Core 15th anniversary gala. And that is going to be on Saturday, November 20th. And exciting this year is that we are doing a hybrid event. So typically we do a in-person event in Washington, D.C., which usually has a limit of about 200 attendees. And this year, because of the inspiration by the state of our world, we are going to have that in-person component. So we're looking forward to seeing a lot of our friends and supporters in Washington, D.C. And we also are looking forward to extending aspects of that event to our hybrid audience. And so that's an opportunity for people to support, to have our sponsors and such. You can find out more at 15.atlascore.org. Some highlights I can tell you now, and expect some big announcements in the upcoming weeks, is that one, we're going to be recognizing our founder, Scott Beal. He transitioned to the U.S. Peace Corps earlier this year, so we're excited to specifically honor him during that 15th anniversary event. We also are honoring our 2021 Alumni Changemaker. Each year we recognize an outstanding alumni from Class 1. We just announced this on July bonus day. Gargi Saha, who is from India. She served at Ashoka during her fellowship, and she now is a child protection officer with UNICEF. And we're going to have special remarks from Diathma, who is the UN Secretary General's envoy on youth. I would say her last name, but I am very uncertain of the direct pronunciation. And then we are also, this will be happening in the upcoming weeks, we have an annual Global Changemaker honoree. So we are going to be announcing that. I'm very excited. We have an outstanding individual who is an accomplished professional and really embraces the core values of Atlas Core and some really positive exchange experiences. So look forward to hearing who that honoree is soon. So that's all happening November 20th, 15.atlascore.org. Check it out.
So when you talk, remember we have the programs like the GLL, where they used to give us classes for cultural exchange, some professional trainings, and also there is these opportunities that the fellowship sometimes give for the fellows, opportunities to go and volunteer in different organizations. Like, what is the organization goal in that, and how is the program went far on this area?
Yeah, Mary Paul, I love your in-depth knowledge. It's so great. Alumni talking to alumni. Look, here are two alumni. If people want to know the impact of the Atlas Core Fellowship, right here we have two alumni. So I'm glad you mentioned. So when you think of the fellowship, there is the service at the host organization. Like that is a core activity and really the bulk of the experience. And we complement that with, as you were saying, the Global Leadership Lab. And what the Global Leadership Lab is a professional development series offered by Atlas Core, and it includes the orientation. So our fellows typically participate in about a week-long orientation, and it may be in person or it may be virtual. And then during the course of the year, we have 3 immersions. And similar to the Virtual Leadership Institute, we touch on core leadership principles, and that is developing self, developing others, and leading movements. And what we have found is that those are transferable leadership skills. So whether you are a fundraiser, whether you are monitoring and evaluation expert, you can utilize those skills in any role you play. And so we essentially 3 times a year bring our fellows together, whether in Washington, D.C. or whether online, and we hold mini summits. And we actually had one in July, and it was the theme for the July immersion was leading movements. So we had some great presenters. We partnered with an organization called You Facilitate. We had some the former ambassador from Madagascar to the United States who spoke. Another inspired tech entrepreneur, William Nazareth, spoke, and also Karen Foker from the Cure Violence, one of our host organizations. And we had fellows engaged in presenting, and we had a great presentation about civic engagement, and they're really interactive immersions. And so what we seek to do in those is we seek to bring in facilitators and thought experts on the field to present these interactive workshops that then fellows can learn and engage and internalize some of that knowledge. In addition, the fellows become presenters. We have an activity called People Power Hour, where actually fellows present on key social issues from their country. So the idea is fellows are learning, they're doing, and they're sharing with one another.
So going to that, and the alumni.
how is the alumni are doing change and more work under the ground? How do you envision that? Are they achieving the mission of Atlas Core Fellowship after they finish the fellowship and go back to their home country? What is your perspective on that?
Yes, I'm a firm believer, and it happens in a lot of ways. And one person can also achieve it in numerous ways. And I think just on Tuesday, no, Wednesday, this was yesterday, I spoke with an alum and she said to me, she said, Abby, Atlas Core changed my life. I completely did a 180 on my professional and personal development. And I looked at the world in a whole nother way, and I've sought new opportunities. I've inspired my community. I've inspired my family, and Atlas Court opened those doors for me. And I was like motivated. It was like a sunshine for the rest of my day. And I said, yes, that is it. And so we have individuals like Gargi. She shared what she's been doing with UNICEF. And she has, since her time at the fellowship, she is really an expert in child rights issues, human trafficking in India. And now she's at UNICEF and she's worked with various organizations. And I think she did the fellowship at Ashoka, focused on entrepreneurship. And then she went back to India and she did the fellowship in 2007. And I think about, she finished in 2008. So she has been back for 13 years. And over that time, what she's been able to do and what she's been able to inspire, she's brought this global perspective. And last year, our alumni changemaker was Medha Sharma from Nepal. She served at the Nike Foundation in Oregon, and much the same thing. She said, I went to a new place, a new organization. I mean, Nike is a well-known brand. I didn't know what to expect. And it just expanded me. She worked on youth and women's rights issues at the Nike Foundation and inspired her. She went back to Nepal and founded her own organizations working on that issue as well. She's working a lot on community health. She's working on a lot of women and youth rights. And especially during the pandemic, what was key is that her organization was helping to deliver information and proper information. So trying to get correct information to the hands of the communities throughout Nepal and getting them the knowledge and the resources they need to help deal with the pandemic. And I think that's that's action, alumni action. We actually launched last year. We have a blog.atlascore.org. And in that, there's a few hashtags. Believe in superheroes. Last year, we launched this campaign called Believe in Superheroes because we wanted to tell the story, like all of us, myself included, have gone through some experiences over these past 18 months. And what we wanted to focus on, we said, you know what? We also know our alumni, our fellows were reaching out to us and saying, oh, this is hard, but guess what I'm doing? Nino in Tunisia, he was working at an entrepreneurial startup. They used their digital printers to start printing face shields in Tunisia. And then they took that prototype and were sharing that design across the world and even within the Atlas Core community. And that other digital printing places could print those digital masks. And I said, that is alumni in action. So if you go to our blog.atlascore.org, you look down at the hashtag Believe in Superheroes, you're going to read these stories. It's about our fellows. It's about our alumni. It's also about our volunteers. Like Atlas Core is the fellows, it is the alumni, it is our virtual scholars, and it is the whole community, our host organizations, our volunteers. It gets me so inspired because I get to engage with amazing people every day. And I'm humbled because I'm just one simple person. And really my role is to help others achieve so much more. And when I look at Believe in Superheroes, I even look at Atlas Core 15, where sharing alumni stories, that is where I see the impact. So I encourage you everyone to check out blog.atlascore.org.
So if someone is watching live,
The amazing alumni that you have mentioned, and they went through this exchange. It's just a cultural experience and also career shift in leadership. If the person is wondering, is it after I'm doing the fellowship, is it that I'm going to get a job, or it? How does it work?
Great question. And I'm going to speak to you stepping away from like acting CEO role and as an alum. So in 2009, I finished my Atlas Core Fellowship in Columbia with that big question mark. What's next? I didn't have a what's next. So while I lived in Washington, D.C., I actually returned. I'm from the middle part of the U.S. I'm from a small family farm in Minnesota. And I returned. I said, what am I going to do? And Atlas Core does not guarantee we're going to find you a job. That's not the role of our fellowship. Our goal is to enhance your professional skills, build your personal and professional networks so that you can find those opportunities. And sometimes our fellows and alumni have an immediate opportunity, and sometimes it takes years or sometimes there's lots of transition. We also have stories of alumni being able to continually engage with their organization. Like Open GovHub is a host organization of ours in Washington, D.C., and they have offices throughout the world. And I think 3 or 4 of those offices have leadership and staff that are Atlas Corps alums. And so there are those stories and those opportunities. And there's no guarantee. I think what we're really trying to do is we're trying to connect people. And so that's what we're really trying to do and build their skills. And so I think that's a way that an applicant can see it, is if you are looking at, okay, I want to enhance my skills in a unique way. And I think when I became an alum, when I became a fellow, before I became alum, I was fundraising in Washington, D.C., and I knew personally my goal. I was Spanish speaking, had traveled throughout Central and South America, and I said, I want to return to that region. So I was able to go to Bogota. And so I worked at a foundation, I served at a foundation there. And after that, when I came back to the US, reconnected myself, there is a period of cultural adjustment. And then I did move back to DC, and I actually found an opportunity to connect and do some fundraising for a Colombian-based organization. I did some fundraising for the Inter-American Development Bank, and doors did open. And my experience as an Atlas Corps Fellow helped to open the door of opportunity to that path, to that direction that I wanted, to be more engaged with Central and South America, use my Spanish skills, and then the opportunity at Atlas Corps opened up. And I think that's what's key, is that Atlas Corps can open new doors of opportunity that might not have been there before, and that may be in a more global context. So I think that's what's key. We don't guarantee jobs, though we do help you grow and expand and explore new opportunities.
That's wonderful, Abby.
Question: How do you envision the future of the organization of Atlas Corps, with the alumni, the great staff, and also the co-founders, all this amazing team who are in the program?
Oh my goodness, that is an excellent question. And when we do orientation, we have this presentation called Atlas Corps 101, and what it is an intro to Atlas Corps. And so in this year, when 15th year, and then also as we went through this transition from our founder, and as Scapio went forth to the U.S. Peace Corps, which is amazing. They're a kindred organization of ours. We've been very much inspired by the U.S. Peace Corps, so we're excited that he can lend his talents. And we actually transitioned to Atlas Corps 2.0 because we are like on this transition and this change and this growth as an organization. And so I see our future is bright. Spoiler alert, and stay tuned. Within the next few weeks, we are going to be announcing our new CEO. I have been honored to play the role as acting CEO, and it is so inspiring to come from the community. Of course, I love my role within the organization and not needing to be the CEO. So I'm very much looking forward to our future led by a new CEO. I'm excited soon. It's still a little bit secret, but I'm going to encourage people, stay tuned the next few weeks, I promise. And I see we're going to continue to engage that talent. We're going to continue to launch interesting partnerships. And that is what is core to Atlas Corps. We believe the power of the individual to inspire social change, and we believe in the ability of partnerships to get us there. And I love that we are so collaborative. And even this week, I've been talking with different people in different organizations, and the whole basis of our conversation is how can we collaborate together? And I think now more than ever, our world is ready. We've gone through this tumultuous time, this amazing amount of transition and pivot and all those words, unprecedented. And how we got through it was together. And together has such a unique definition because it was not together in the same physical space. It was together in the same mental space. And there are so many entities that share that with Atlas Corps. So that's what I see. I see we are going to engage more leaders from around the world. We're going to launch more exciting partnerships, and we are going to have some more exciting updates. So 2021 is just like the launching wrap. It's like, here we are at 15 years. And then I feel like we're kind of on this launching path. We're gaining steam. And then 2022, full steam ahead. So look forward to some exciting updates.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abby. It was really wonderful to have you today. Abby.
Well, Mary Paula, I have a question for you. So now, what about you? Being an Atlas Corps alumni, how has it inspired you?
It does so much actually. I just can. I'm still talking
about this amazing experience that I get to serve with the amazing team, and also the opportunities that I'm getting, and the formal the type of the training and the professional training that I get, that I apply now, and I get the recognition in 2019, and it's just the beginning. I'm still doing more, and a lot of creativity are coming out of me. Thank you so much for this work, and you have also played this role when you were was in the fellowship, and all the support that we get from the team and from people from our side.
Amazing. Well, great to hear it. Glad to have you part of our community.
Yeah, and the good thing that they have get an amazing network. I have the biggest
I can never imagine. So this is what the fellowship have, like one of the great things that the fellowship have offered me too.
Amazing.
But thank you
Well,
so
glad
much,
to hear
Elise.
it.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching for Direction today. I'm the host, I'm Mary Apollo. So our discussion today was about the organization of Atlas Core, the future of the organization, and how the fellows are impacted life under the ground. Just it was my honor to host Abby Robinson. She's the acting CEO and then also alumni, replacing Scott Bell, the founder, who is now the director for Peace Corps. And yeah, so go more to the website and see the opportunities about the fellowship for youth leaders from the age of 25 up to 35 if you are a youth leader, because I receive a lot of messages. People are asking me about how to apply to this fellowship. So go to the www.atlascore.corp, see more about the opportunity, start your online application. And also they have supportive team. You can send them and ask more about the kind of the help that you need if you face any difficulties through the application. Yeah, I hope to see you in a different episode, a different topic to talk about. Thank you so much for watching the Foreign Direction again. My name is Mary Apollo. Bye. Have a good day.